I want to deal with the broad-based government issue. Kenyans made the current constitution in 2010. But I don't know whether Kenyans knew what they were passing into law, or as we used to say before, Baba alikuwa amesoma. I don't know. Because each time we are faced with this issue, it confirms to me how unaware of our current constitutional setup Kenyans are. You see, the former constitution had government side and opposition side. It was a parliamentary system in which ministers were being appointed from among members of parliament. And so the side of the government had ministers, and the other side was opposition. In the new constitution, we don't have opposition. We have one government. It is a presidential system in which everybody is in government. And that is why if you look at the new constitution in the chapter dealing with parliament, among the roles of parliament are representation, legislation, and oversight. Oversight is supervision. That was the work that was for the opposition. In the current constitution, oversight work is the work of all members of parliament on the majority and the minority side. In fact, the person who should be leading us in opposing bad government policies is the majority leader. It's the majority leader on the floor. But you see, even now I'm saying it and Kenyans are laughing. They are like, how can Ichungwa oversight or lead attack or opposition against Ruto government? In a presidential system like ours, the majority side do not have to be the side that produced parliament. You remember this government of Trump, of Biden, which has gone home. Biden was in the Democratic Party, but in the House of Congress, the majority were the Republicans. But in Kenya, because we don't understand our new constitutional setup, we do election, and you remember, like in this government, truly, it is Azimio which are the majority. But the party which won the elections had to go picking UDM, what party, so that they are the majority. In an ideal situation, it would have been the Azimio chairing committees and doing all those sorts of things. This is about misunderstanding. So let me stop you from ever reminding me that I'm in opposition which does not exist. I'm elected as a member of parliament. And as a member of parliament, I'm not just in the first arm of government called parliament, so that I'm in government, but I'm also a state officer under Article 260. This idea of opposition has been used by people who believe once your presidential candidate wins, everything in the country, from public service appointments, from resources, are now exclusively yours. That is why when they hear a few people have been appointed from ODM to be in the cabinet, ODM is now in bed with the government. Before we were in bed with who? ODM as a party is a government party, funded by government. And I want to remind Kenyans that Article 4 of the Constitution says Kenya is a multi-party democratic state. So we are all free to be in whatever political party, but we are all in government. All Kenyans pay taxes. All Kenyans pay taxes. Yeah. I want to request you to pull your identification document now. Does it show on top you are in ODM or Kenya Kwanza, or it is a document confirming you are a citizen of the Republic of Kenya issued by the government of Kenya? And I want to tell our people, let nobody subdue you. Don't be told you belong to some non-existent opposition. Let me tell you how this thing has been abused. When the cabinet was disbanded following the Gen Z revolutions, the first set of cabinet secretaries to be appointed were 11. Ruto took 5, gave Gachagua 6. The 5 of Ruto, 1 went to Western Kenya, the Minister for Health. 1 went to Nyanza, the Minister for Education. 1 went to Northeastern, you know, Honorable Duale. 1 went to Coast, Mvurya. Only 1 went to the entire Rift Valley. That is how he spread his 5. He entrusted Gachagua to distribute the other 5, the other 6. 6 out of the first 11. He took all of them to Mount Kenya, and you remember that weekend he was in a church saying, we had 8 cows, have returned 6, I'm searching for the other 2. I made noise on the floor of Parliament here. And I said, Article 232 of the Constitution says when you are composing government, it has to have the face of Kenya. All ethnic groups, all gender, minorities must be integrated, people from all regions. It does not say integrate only people whose presidential candidate won elections. And remember, I told the president, if you don't nominate other Kenyans, by tomorrow we will kill this list. By that following day, President Ruto made the other nominations. And that is the time the ODM got 5. Look at how the ODM party distributed theirs. Treasury CS, sober minority. And look at Article 232, minorities must be considered. Okay? Cooperatives went to Oparanya, Western Kenya. East African community went to Beatrice School, Turkana, very marginalized part of our country. Joe, mining and blue economy. Wandai, Luo, got this other one for energy and petroleum. What happened from that evening? Baba, who has no cabinet, became a conman, became a traitor, became a person licking Gen Z blood. Those ones of Gachagua were not licking anybody's blood. Recently, Uhuru was given very many positions. How many were there? 6 or 7. He took all of them to Kikuyus. The Merus have been crying. You saw Kiraitu crying the other day. We had even to get him an appointment with Ruto to cry there. Forgot even Merus. The Embus are crying. Have you seen the Gen Z saying Uhuru is licking Gen Z blood? So there is tribal bigotry and ethnicity which is being pushed in Kenya by other Kenyans by reminding them, you are opposition. You are opposition. So despite being equal Kenyans, eat nothing. Let me tell you, if my Kamba brothers and sisters want to eat nothing, just eat nothing. But all Kenyans have their rightful space in government. Let them enter and eat. We are eating our taxes, we are eating our government, and we are serving our country. So don't remind me again that we are in bed with whoever. We are all in this government. And if you don't know it, check what happened in the US yesterday. Trump won. You saw all former presidents of the US alive there. Even when he's castigating them, they all applaud. When he arrives, they all stand. If you asked President Biden today, who is the president of the United States, he'll tell you, my president is President Trump. In our constitutional democracy, once you do election, a few people believe they should be eating everything. Your duty begins and ends at giving them taxes to eat. And you are reminded, go to some imaginary thing called opposition. Be there. And so when you take positions, opposition is dead. Which opposition? If Kenyans want an opposition, undertake another constitutional review, and bring parliamentary system, and have government and opposition, the other side, and people will serve. Let me end by saying, nobody elected me to be opposition. We presented Raila. And it is very bad that the very people who rejected Raila for Ruto are now telling us Ruto is bad. And go to social media. They are abusing even Raila, even AUC. You get a normal Kenyan in his sane mind saying Raila should not get. Yet he's a guy who cannot be anything. You know, we become so unpatriotic, so ethnic, so tribal, that we don't see beyond, you know, what is good for all Kenyans. I'll always fight, let me tell you, as an ODM member. If something is bad, I will stand for it, against it. And remember the other day I said, you cannot abduct Kenyans. Whoever is doing so must stop. Because abduction is the worst form of torture you can ever have. And torture is inviolable human right under the Constitution. You can violate the right to life if you want, but not torture. In fact, let me tell Kenyans that better a person shoots you the way our people were shot in 2023 than abduct you. Because when you abduct a person, each second, each minute, the family, the relatives are being killed. So if something is wrong, as a member of the ODM, I'll say this is wrong. If something is right, like the work the police have done around terrorism, I will say here the police have done well. And so don't tell me that as ODM member, because you voted for Ruto, my work is to only say Ruto is bad. I will not do so. You made your bed, lie on it, and being a constitutional democracy, we will ensure you lie on it even if it has thorns until the next elections.